Shalom, shalom, all praises. What's up, Sister Leah? I just wanted to do a quick little live real quick. Charlie Kirk. I want to talk about that for a second, man. Peace and blessings to the family. And also, too, I've been getting a lot of Christians on here. If there's any Christian smoke, you definitely can hit that link. Let me go ahead and copy that link. If there's any Christian smoke, anything at all, you can definitely hit that link. Definitely hit that link if there's any Christian smoke. I've been seeing a lot of Christians on here lately. But I did want to talk about this for a brief second, man. This Charlie Kirk assassination, man. I want to talk about that. This for sure was prophecy. Not necessarily because it deals with him specifically, but prophecy pursuing to Daniel chapter 2, verse 33. Now, I didn't know who this dude was, per se. I didn't really know who he was. I didn't really know, you know what I mean, what he was about. I seen some videos of him, like here and there, you know what I mean, his little debates that he does. But I know he was a very, very strong supporter of Trump. I know that for a fact, but I didn't really know like a lot about him. So I can only go about what videos people have sent me dealing with how he feels and views like black and brown people. He is definitely a guy that is against certain things that I stand for. And I had certain things I want to address in dealing with this dude. But first, if y'all don't know what's happening, if you living under a bus, let's go ahead and I'm gonna share my screen. And then we're going to play this video. So let's go ahead and play this video. It's fair use, fair use. This is only my thoughts and comments on the topic. So let's go ahead and watch this video. Let me go ahead and all right. So fair use again, fair use again. Let me share my audio. Let's go ahead and watch this video. If you guys don't know what's going on, let's go ahead and watch this video. Fair use.
That's a lot of people in Utah, I'll tell you what. All right, we're going to get started, everybody. You know how it works. Question and answer. Also, thank you to Lane from YRV5. That was great. Really appreciate it. And we're going to be here for a couple hours. Get comfortable. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer.
I always find it crazy that somehow with all these people, people can get assassinated. Like I always find that kind of crazy. How all these people are around. And, you know, it's typically in broad daylight. You know, they got JFK like that. They got this guy like that. They assassinated Abraham Lincoln. Like, you know, just various of like political figures that they didn't assassinate. It's normally around a large crowd. I find that crazy. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you guys why I believe that this is prophecy in a second. Not so much dealing with this particular individual. Like I said, I don't really know who he is. Like I said, I've seen some of his stuff. Some stuff I do agree with, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna hold you, like his abortion take, his gay marriage take, so on and so forth. I do agree with that, but I definitely don't agree with his mentality towards the struggle of black and brown relations in America. Definitely don't agree with that, but some of his things I do agree with. But it's a bigger picture that I think needs to be shown, with which can be tied back biblically. All right, so he was in Utah, and this was moments before he was shot in Utah. But I just think it's funny how, you know, man, is this like an inside job? I mean, I don't know. I mean, look at all these people. You know what I mean? It's crazy that, you know, no one barely seen anything, or we're still like trying to see who's the active shooter. I don't know if there's any. I know it's updates being given like hourly, but from the last time I checked, I don't think they found out who the shooter was. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it's just crazy how all these people are here. You know what I mean? And this dude got shot like close. You know what I mean? Right in the neck. Crazy, man. So yeah, that was moments before he was actually struck in the neck. He was actually shot. I don't know about YouTube's guidelines. I'm not sure if I could show the assassination. And I don't want to be struck, but I do want to show this. Let's go ahead and let's watch this one.
We continue to follow the breaking news that has rocked the political world.
Again, fair use, fair use, fair use. This is for educational purposes only for me to give my thoughts and opinion on the content. And that's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Today, conservative activist Charlie Kirk shot and killed today at an event on the campus of Utah Valley University. Now here at 4:30, we want to go into the background of Charlie Kirk. Who was he? How did he become so influential at 31?
Yeah, like many political activists, he was controversial, but also respected by people on both sides of the aisle, including California Governor Gavin Newsom.
NBC4's Jonathan Gonzalez is here now with how he made a name for himself. Jonathan.
Hey, Colleen, Michael, you know, for those who are deeply entrenched in American politics, Charlie.
So yeah, y'all follow me. Like I said, I don't know too much about him. So this y'all watching me in real time. Y'all watching me in real time, learn who this guy is. All right. So y'all follow me, right? I'm learning who he is. Like I said, I know a little bit about him, and I'm gonna get a chapter in Daniel chapter 2. I believe that this is prophecy, right? Not him particularly, but just the environment that this is about to breed. Okay.
Kirk has become a household name, especially since President Trump first took office back in 2016. The 31-year-old was by far the leading voice connecting the Republican Party and the MAGA movement to young college students and really young people all over the country. But we also know not everyone is familiar with the name Charlie Kirk. He was born in 1993. Kirk grew up in Illinois, where he began making a name for himself politically during his senior year of high school. That is when he published a paper on the far-right website Breitbart News, in which he argued that high school textbooks were too liberal. That earned him some appearances on some conservative news outlets. And in 2012, after dropping out of college, he started the nonprofit Turning Point USA, one of the fastest growing conservative advocacy organizations in the country, with chapters at multiple universities. Kirk had led Turning Point ever since, touring college campuses each year, including a stop at USC earlier this year. He would speak to large crowds of students. He would even invite some of them to come and debate him in front of others. His influence on young conservatives cannot be overstated. It was the reason he became the first guest on Governor Newsom's new podcast. The two obviously very far apart politically, but Newsom acknowledged Kirk's ability to reach young Americans, including Newsom's own son.
Be concerned, but so let me say here is why I'm concerned, because you have expressed that I should be concerned as a Democrat, that we're getting clobbered.
Okay. Yes.
That you've figured something out.
It's not me. The president first deserves the credit.
But why? No, hold on. You were at this before Trump was Trump.
I know, but
he was a Democrat back in 2011.
Yeah, but the president deserves huge credit, and I just have to say that as an obligatory thing, because without him, our movement would be small. And you can appreciate that in politics.
I'm gonna tell y'all what I think, man. I truly believe that this is going to start like civil war talk, right? Because not only did they try to assassinate President Trump, right? Y'all remember that? Where they tried to assassinate President Trump? So this is all important. We got to look at what the Most High is saying here. The Most High God is speaking right now, right? And he's just using these politicians as pawns for the greater scheme of what's actually going to take place. And I'm going to actually get that in the scriptures once this video is done. But just pay attention, man. You know, those right-wing extremists, very, very serious. I'm gonna show y'all. And then I don't know, did y'all hear about the stabbing on the train? Who put sevens in the chat if you heard about the stabbing on the train, right? All of this stuff is happening at the time that it's happening, is going to cause major division within the communities, right? You got the brother that was on the train that stabbed the white woman on the train. I don't know if I can show that video either on YouTube because of the YouTube guidelines, but if you haven't seen that, I mean, it should be all over Facebook, all over Twitter, including this guy's Assassination. But yeah, brother on the train stabbed up a white woman. Now, if y'all don't think that this is going to breed some type of, you know, race war and things of that nature, civil war, like it's coming, it's unfolding. You know what I mean? You know, it's happening and it's biblical, right? This is what the scriptures say. So
I have to appreciate the person who is the catalyst.
That podcast took place back in March. Kirk was also a podcaster. Today, Governor Newsom released a statement that read in part, quote, "I knew Charlie and I admired his passion and commitment to debate. His senseless murder is a reminder of how important it is for all of us across the political spectrum to foster genuine discourse on issues that deeply affect us all without resorting to political violence. The best way to honor Charlie's memory is to continue his work, engage with each other across ideology through spirited discourse." Kirk was 31 years old. He is survived by his wife, Erica, and his 3-year-old daughter and 1-year-old son. Michael, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Jonathan.
Yeah, man, you can't tell me that this is not about to breed something, right? You can't tell me that this is not about to breed something. It's for sure. It's for sure gonna breed something, right? Let me get Daniel chapter 2 real quick. This is what I think this is the time that I think that we in right now, saints. This is the time that I think we in right now. This is Daniel chapter 2, man. This is the time that I think we in, biblically. All of this is prophecy. You know, it's definitely going to spark some outrage. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing other political leaders that's targeted, you know, on the Democrat side. It's only a matter of time, right? So look, let's go to Daniel chapter 2 and let's read verse let's go to Daniel chapter 2 and let's start at verse, I don't want to read, let's go up a little bit. Let's read verse 32. All right. So it says, this is the image, right? So this is the image that Daniel saw. Daniel saw this image, right? This is dealing with the vision that not Daniel didn't see it, but Nebuchadnezzar had a vision. And now Nebuchadnezzar had a vision and he seen the man that had the head of gold, the arms and thighs, arms of silver, thighs of brass, and so on and so forth. And so Nebuchadnezzar is asking Daniel about this particular dream and to give him understanding of what he saw. So let's read Daniel's interpretation of what he saw. So this is Daniel chapter 2, verse 32. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. So this is the image that Nebuchadnezzar seen, and Daniel's giving him the interpretation of this, right? So verse 34 says, thou sawest till that stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. So we know what that stone is, right? That stone is actually dealing with Mount Zion, right? We're going to get to that. We're going to get the interpretation. Somebody says, oh, Shalom, Don. Shalom to all the brothers and sisters. Someone said, if you watch the shooting on slow motion, you'll see it's an AI camera It's AI camera tricks. Dude's ring finger switched magically to his pinky finger after the shot. Don't believe these devils' new tricks, family. I mean, who knows, man? I mean, with so much AI stuff going on, I don't know, but I don't know how that could be AI when he literally had like hundreds of people there, hundreds of people were around, unless you're saying that the hundreds of people that were there were all in on it. I mean, to me, that's a little bit of a stretch, but again, the AI stuff is crazy, but nah, that was real. I wish I could show the video. If I could actually show the video, I mean, the dude got shot in the neck, you know. But regardless of the matter is, you know, the emotions of the people is very real. I believe that was real. I don't believe that was AI. Me personally, to me, you can kind of tell when something's AI, but you know, we always get the conspiracies. You know what I mean? If you believe a conspiracy, hey, I ain't taking no shots at you. But nah, he was really shot, man. You could clearly see the bullet enter his neck. I wish I could show it, but I can't show it. But you clearly see that the dude was shot. But without further ado, what I think is about to happen in the times that we in, family, because us as saints, we got to pay attention to these things, right? Let me get one more scripture before we continue with Daniel. Let's get this real quick. We got to pay attention to the signs. All right. This is Matthew chapter 26, verse 41. It says, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So we must watch and pray, right? We're in a time where we must watch and pray. All right, let's get one more. All right, we in the end right now, y'all. We in the end right now, and all of this stuff is important, right? So this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. Now, as he sat on Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privily, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age, right? It says, and Yahushua answered them and said, take heed that no man deceive you, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise up against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines, pestilence, earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So the Most High is showing us, right? We got to watch and pray, and we got to watch all these wars and rumors of wars. And we got to start to study the prophecies and study the prophets. Now, let's go back to Daniel chapter 2 real quick. And if there's any Christian smoke out there, any Christian smoke, I am taking any Christian smoke. If you want a Christian and you want to come on here, the Christian's been going crazy on my page lately, so I want to definitely talk to you. Hit that link and I'll bring you right up, right? So definitely want some Christian smoke if you out there. So let's read Daniel chapter 2. So Nebuchadnezzar is having this vision, and I got more videos too that I want to show too. So Nebuchadnezzar is having this vision, and in this vision he sees the image of a man, right? And this image has part brass, part clay. The legs and feet are his legs of iron, and his feet part brass and iron and of clay. So let's read verse 36 to get the interpretation of this dream. So it says, this is the dream, and we will tell thee the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art king of kings, right? So Daniel's about to give Nebuchadnezzar the interpretation of this dream. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven has given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And whatsoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven, have he given into thy hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. So the head of gold from this image is the kingdom of Babylon, right? Which is Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom, right? So now let's read verse 39. And after these shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, right? So you had the next kingdom was a kingdom of brass. Those will be your Persians and Medes, all right? Khan, somebody said the actual footage is on TikTok. Yeah, it is on TikTok, but I don't want to show it because I don't want to get flagged. All right. Somebody said they don't want none of that, the cookie smoke. You funny, but it's my shirt. All right. Don said, I know the Second Amendment is about to be take a big hit. Yeah, you already know that they about to really try to push for that. We're going to see what happened. We're going to see what happened. We're going to have to really watch and pray and see what's going on. But watch this. It says, let's read verse 39, because I'm going to show you guys what time we in right now. Okay. The Bible makes it very clear what time we in right now in end time prophecy. The Bible says we have to watch. Okay. So let's watch and let's see what happens and pans out. Things like this don't happen unless there's some importance in the spirit. So let's look at this. This is verse 39. So you got the head of gold, which is Babylon. You got the let's read 39. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass. So then you got the kingdom next of brass, which would be your Persians and Medes, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise, right? And whereas thou saw feet and toes, right? So you got Babylon, you got the Persians and Medes, you got the Greeks that came up, and then you also got Rome that came up, right? But now this is the part that I want. I want verse 41. And whereas thou saw the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, pay attention to this, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, right? Now watch this. So it says that there's feet, right? That is part clay and iron. That's important. The reason why it's part, and we're going to see Daniel explain this, the reason why, because remember, you go into Revelations, the book of Revelations, and you go into the dragons and then the image of the beast and so on and so forth. If you guys know anything about scriptural, biblical chronology dealing with the prophecies, you'll understand that Greece and Rome came up. Now, Rome is that beast that's in Revelation chapter 12, right? We can go into that whole breakdown. Rome is that beast in Revelation chapter 12. Now, there is going to be the image of that beast, right? That's going to come up. And the image of the beast, if you understand prophecy, is America. America is what we would call the extension of Rome. Why is America the extension of Rome? Well, easy, because America was founded from Great Britain, right? Or England, right? England is actually a part of the EEC, which is the European Economic Communities, which Europe is the modernized name for ancient Rome. Okay, so ancient Rome and Europe, all of these nations, right? The EEC, the European Economic Communities, it's Italy, Britain, so on and so forth. These are all Roman provinces. Okay, and America is an extension of these provinces. Provinces. That's why it is iron, right? It is part iron, but it's also part clay because of the division that we're going to see, right? Watch this. It says, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be. So now it says that this particular kingdom shall be divided. This is talking about America. This is a future prophecy dealing with America. It says that this kingdom will be of iron. Iron is strong, but it says that it will be divided. So not only will this kingdom be strong, but it will be divided. What are we seeing right now? We're seeing America is one of the greatest nations. Okay. America is one of the greatest nations, but America is divided, right? The Bible says, can a nation divided against each other stand? Well, it can't. But one thing that lets you know that America is special, contrary to other nations, is because America is divided, but right now America still holds the power, even though America is divided. So all of this Democrat, Republican stuff that you see, right? These assassinations, all right? You're gonna start to realize that all of this is prophecy, right? So it says, let's read that, verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of strength of iron. For as much, watch this, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with merry clay. So the iron and clay can't mix. All right. The iron and clay cannot mix. All right. The scriptures are heavy, y'all. Yeah, I meant the scriptures are heavy. So the iron and clay can't mix. But because iron is a hard substance, clay is a more of a not a liquid, but it's more of a softer substance, right? So they can't mix, and that is symbolizing division. Watch this, verse 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Y'all see that? It says the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken, right? So this is what you're seeing with all this Democrat and Republican stuff, right? All this Democrat, Republican stuff and all of that, that this kingdom is partly strong, but it is also partly weak, okay? And it says, and whereas, and watch this, verse 43, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with merry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of man. So this place, right, this last kingdom is not only partly weak, partly strong, an extension of Rome, right? Partly weak, partly strong. But it says that all nations dwell here, and all the nations do not mix. All right. All the nations do not mix here. Verse 43. And whereas thou saw iron mixed with merry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of man, but they shall not cleave. Pay attention. But they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Y'all see that? It says, even as iron is not mixed with clay. You understand? So even though we mingling ourselves together in America, big melting pot, mingling ourselves together in America, big melting pot, it says that these people will not mix. Okay. So when you seeing stuff like this, you seeing assassinations on political figures, the Democrats and Republicans, this is all prophecy. The Bible is telling you where we are right now. It's not quite the end yet, but what we can see is we're going to start seeing this political struggle, right? The political struggle is masked as they're trying to mask the Democrat and Republican battle as a political struggle, but it's really a division within the nation, and it's going to eventually start a civil war. Now that has to happen. Okay, it's going to eventually start a civil war. Because watch what it says, verse 43. And whereas thou saw iron mixed with merry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of man, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God. So now it says, in the days of these kings, right, shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Verse 45, for as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold. So all these nations are going to be destroyed. You understand? Yeah, that is crazy. I'm telling you, the Bible is a real book, man. The Bible is a real book. You see, the Bible is telling you what's happening right now. So it says, the next kingdom that will come up, for as much as, verse 45, for as much as thou sawest the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, and the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. So this is a prophecy, all right? This is a prophecy of what's happening in America right now. America is spiritual Babylon, okay? This is America is spiritual Babylon. How do we know that? How do we know that America is spiritual Babylon? That's why Christians don't have the authority to teach this word, because Christians are not going to teach this word truly to you. They're going to lie to you and tell you that America is a nation for God. They're going to lie to you and tell you God bless America. They're going to tell you to pray for this country when the Bible teaches opposite. The Bible tells you that this country must fall. This country is of the devil. This country is ran by the beast. All right. I'm going to show you that this country, this last country in the end times, is America. The Christians don't know the word of God. They'll have you think that the beast and all of that is Arabia and the Arabs and all of that. It is not them. It is America. America is this nation. America fits the prophecies. There's no other country or nation that fits the prophecies. Let's go to Revelation chapter 18. I'm going to show y'all this, right? Let's read this. So the Bible gives you context clues. You got to read the context clues so that you guys can understand what's going on. You got to follow the true prophets and the true men of the Lord so we can keep you in the loop of what's going on. Because remember, it says that the day is going to come like a thief in the night. Let me get that real quick. Let me actually get that before we go into Revelations. All right. Let's get Matthew 24 and 43. It says, but know this, that if the master of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house be broken into. Right? Let's actually read up a little bit. So that was 43. Let's go up a little bit. Let's read 36. All right. Let's read verse 36. So this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. Watch what it says, family. It says, but concerning that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son. That's also a cut to you Christians that Yahweh Shai is the Father, because Yahweh Shai doesn't know all, only the Father does. But if we get some smoke today, I would love to discuss that with any Christian. It says, so the Son doesn't even know. It says, but the Father only, for as were the days of Noah, so will the coming of the Son of Man. So it says the coming of the Son of Man, the coming of the Son of Man shall be, right? It says, for as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day when Noah entered the ark. And they were unaware until the flood came and swept them all away. So will be the coming of the Son of Man. Then 2 men will be in the field. One will be taken and one will be left. 2 women will be grading at the mill. One will be taken and one left. Watch this. Watch verse 42. Therefore, stay awake, family. Stay awake. For you do not know on what day your Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house be broken into. Therefore, you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. But he gives us context clues, okay? He gives us context clues of what's going to happen, okay? Brother said there was just a fight in the house, condemned of inciting violence. Oh, dang, it was? Is that on YouTube? Can we pull up that video on YouTube? Is that video able to be put up on YouTube? Daniel, my brother Daniel, if it is, let me know, because I want to go check that out. All right. So again, Christians don't know what time it is, but we do. So when the Bible says we must watch, meaning we must watch the scriptures. We must look at what the scriptures are telling us. Right now, the scriptures are telling us that civil war is coming. We just read that in Daniel chapter 2. Civil war is coming. Before all of that even takes place, we have to have a full-on civil war first. And it's coming, right? So if you just tuning in, go back, look at Daniel chapter 2, and you'll see. So let's look at Revelation chapter 18, verse 1. We know America is where this is going to take place, because America is Babylon the Great, that great whore that the beast sitteth upon, which is Babylon, which is America, right? Let's read Revelation chapter 18, verse 1. Let's show you that this is actually America. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power. And the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great is fallen, and is become the habitations of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. All right. So remember, I told you guys context clues. How do we know that this is America? Well, we got to look at it. First of all, we know that Daniel chapter 2 is talking about America, because America is the only place where you have this great melting pot of all nations that are mingling themselves together, but they don't get along and they fight. All right. So we can clearly see that. But also, too, it says that it shall be, right, the habitation of devils, the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. America is the place that has the most fornication. America is the place that has the most murders with guns, most murders in general. They make you feel like the other countries are scary to live in, but America is one of the most scariest countries, because there's no place on earth like this that has what we call a term, a serial killer. We literally have a term called serial killer. That's what, when the Bible says that this is a place of every unclean and hateful bird, we literally have a term of a serial killer. All right. That is crazy, right? Where we have these people going on mass killings, mass shootings, right? It's nothing but evil here. Unclean, sicknesses, all type of sicknesses, sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, AIDS, HIV, cancers on the rise. Like you can't even get certain food, right? You can't even get certain food, right? Other countries won't even allow you to sell certain food that America sells to their citizens. So when it says that this place is a cage of every unclean and hateful bird, name me a country. For anybody that don't think that this is America in Revelations 18, my challenge to you good Christians, because y'all gonna go to church and y'all gonna say we need to pray for America. I challenge any Christian to show me a nation as filthy, as dirty, as polluted with fornication, with sicknesses from sexually transmitted diseases as America. I will wait. I've already shared the link. Go up. You can get on the link, right? There's no place that is as evil as this place, right? Now, let's look at verse 3. It says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. How do we know this is America? Because all nations cleave to this place. Every single nation cleaves to this place. I'm going to say it again. Every single nation cleaves to this place. They want to come to America. They want the American dream. They want to travel here and bring their families here, from Armenians to Arabians to Chinese to Mongolians to Africans. Everybody wants to come to this place. Everybody wants to be here. You name me a place that all nations want to come and take part. And watch what it says. Remember, we have to read the Bible with context clues. What are the context clues? It says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, meaning that all nations will take part in the fornications of America. And they disguised it as democracy. Is everybody following me? All right. Is this making clear sense? It's so easy. My daughter can understand it. It's so easy that my child can understand it. What nation on the face of the planet have all nations come to drink, particularly of fornication? Disguised under democracy, right? Disguised under democracy. And if other countries do not accept the democracy, then they wage war on those countries. You see what I'm saying? So we literally have a term called Americanized, where other countries come here, they live here, and they become Americanized. An Americanized culture, right? Americanized culture is taking part of the beast system of fornication and all type of profane living and lifestyle. This is all found in America. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornications, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth, watch this. Notice how he uses that word merchants, meaning now the other nations are doing business with her. The merchants. So whenever you see the exports, the imports, and things of that nature, America is the largest society with exports, and bringing other countries' vehicles and things like that. The whole I gotta drive a foreign and all of that, right? America takes everybody's business, does business, and if you don't want to adhere to the nation, then they have the power to not do business with you. This is the country right here. In Revelations 18, it is America. This is why you have to get with the prophets and see what the prophets are saying, right? So we know that this is America. So when you read Daniel chapter 2, not only can you see that division and that infighting for the last nation before the Most High comes and brings Israel back into power, it only can fit one country, and that is America. This only can fit one country, and that is America. Again, if you believe that it's any other country, you need to show me. See, this is the stuff that Christians don't want to talk about. Christians will try to debate you on the Trinity. Christians will try to debate you on salvation. They'll try and get cut up, by the way, right? It's not hard to deal with any of the Christians that deal with that. But they don't ever talk about prophecy dealing with this last great nation, this nation that is prophesied to be on the earth. Who do they say this nation is? Because they believe that you should pray for America and they love America, but God hates America. And God is going to destroy this place. Okay? God is going to destroy this place. So it says, verse 3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. You see that? What other country has made all countries rich? Right? They enjoy the freedom. Right? Evil and wickedness disguised as freedom, right? Evil and wickedness disguised as freedom. Okay, you got to understand this. This is a crafty devil. Okay, so it says through the abundance of her delicacies, they enjoy being able to be homosexual. They enjoy being able to fornicate. You can't do that in Muslim countries. So they condemn the Muslim countries for not allowing you to enjoy fornication. So come to America and enjoy all your fornication. Revelations 18 is letting you know that Babylon the Great Whore is America. It is America. Watch what it says. Verse 4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. We have to come out of America spiritually and mentally, that we may not receive any of her plagues that are going to come upon this place. It's quite simple. You can actually see this in real time take place. For an example, right? For an example, it's going to be the same way that the Most High delivered Moses out of Egypt. It's going to be the same way that God delivered Moses out of Egypt, and the plagues did not touch the children of Israel, is the same way that the plagues are going to hit this place and the children of Israel that are walking in the fear, law, statutes, and commandments, and faith of Christ. They will not be touched. But we have to come out of her and live in a righteous manner. That's why we condemn this place to hell and to destruction, because that's what Revelation says. Revelation says that this place is going to be condemned for destruction. That's what Revelation says. So, for an example, let me show y'all something else. The rabbit hole gets deep. I can go deep into this. These prophecies are made known to the prophets. Now, check this out. Code. It says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. So it says God has remembered her iniquities. But it says, receive not none of her plagues. The plagues are already here. They're just not here in the frequency that it's going to be. Let's go back to real quick. Let's go back to Matthew 24 real quick. I'm going to show y'all something. The seals are already open. Look at this. Let's go to Matthew 24, right? Look at this. The seals are already open. Watch this. Matthew 24, and let's read verse 8. Look at this. Is it 8? Let me see. And let me see. All right. I like how it reads in the ESV. So I'm going to read the KJV. So in the KJV, it says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. But look what it says in the ESV. If you read it in the ESV, it says, Matthew chapter 24, verse 8, all these are but the beginnings of birth pains, right? So all these are the beginnings of birth pains. If you know anything about birth pain, birth pains happen and then they gradually increase. Okay. They gradually increase. That's how birth pains happen. Let me get Mark real quick. Okay. So the pain is already here. The birth pains are already here, but they're going to gradually increase. Okay. Let's get Mark 13. So, you know, we've seen COVID, for an example. The plagues are going to gradually increase. We're going to see something worse than COVID. We see HIV and AIDS. We're going to eventually see something worse than HIV and AIDS. We're going to see, like right now, I think they got like a super gonorrhea. We're going to see something worse than these STDs. We're going to see a disease that is going to deform your face and your skin. We're going to see these things. All right. We're going to see these things. So Mark chapter 13, verse 8, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. If you read it in the ESV, it's going to say birth pains, right? So contractions, that's what it's talking about. These contractions are going to hit. They're going to hit. They're going to hit, and they're going to hit more frequently and frequently and frequently and frequently. So you're going to see this, right? For instance, you know, we had like JFK. I'm gonna give you a real life example in real time. We had JFK, right? So JFK was assassinated, right? We had President Lincoln was assassinated. Let me get a list of presidents that were assassinated. Let's get a list of this. I'm gonna share my screen. So watch this. I'm gonna show y'all something. Look at the birth pains. Look at the birth pains. So here, 4 sitting U.S. presidents have been killed. Abraham Lincoln, 1865, right? Then we got James A. Garfield, right? 1881. So that's like what? Is that like almost a 20-year gap? I could be wrong. That's like a 20-year gap almost, give or take, right? Then you got 1901, right? See 1901? All right. So that's about another 20-year gap, I believe, give or take. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right? And then you got John F. K, 1963. So almost like a 60-year plus gap, right? Then you got Ronald Reagan, 1981. Okay. Y'all see look how it's going to start getting closer. Then in 1912 and in 2024, you had Roosevelt, and then you had Donald Trump. There was an attempted assassination on them. So Donald Trump in 2024, there was an assassination attempt on him. And now we got assassination that actually occurred on the Democrat and Republican side. Well, no, on the Republican side by this guy, Charlie Kirk, right? So y'all see it's shorter periods of assassination attempts on political leaders, right? Political leaders. Now it's going to start amping up, where you're going to have political leaders start to get shot at, assassinated, so on and so forth, and more inbreeding and infighting. Okay, more inbreeding and infighting is going to start happening. So when you see, it's going to be like birth pains. So when you see that, you can actually see that it's transpiring and it's happening, meaning contractions are happening. The problem is there, but it's going to get more frequent and 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 more frequent. Till it's going to be all chaos and anarchy. And it's going to happen because, look, I know if y'all don't believe me, it's not just what happened with this dude. Look at this. I know y'all heard this. I can't show the video. I can't show the video, but I can pull it up. Let me share my screen. Look at this. Okay. Remember, we just read it in Daniel. Fair use, fair use. So DOJ charges man for deadly stabbing of Ukrainian refugee Irina Zorokustika. I cannot pronounce that. Forgive me. In North Carolina. Okay. So you guys seen this?
Feel healthier and more confident with a weight loss plan through hers. My main goal was to feel better in my own skin.
I just wanted to regain my confidence. With hers, I have it back.
I'm saying yes to things I might have skipped before, like going on walks or meeting friends.
My experience with hers has been empowering.
Let's pause that while the ad plays. So I'm gonna show y'all that, but anybody seen this situation right here? Okay. It was crazy. You know what I mean? This is going to be more things that actually start the race war. Is my computer froze? Let me know if my computer froze, family. Let me know if my computer froze. My bad. All right, we back. We back. All right. So let's read that. Let's go back. Okay, so this is fair use, fair use. We back. Does everybody see me? Let me see. We back, family? Put sevens in the chat if everybody can see me before we watch the video. Put sevens in the chat. I think I have froze just a little bit. I think I should be good. Okay, Con. So yeah, so this is all leading up to the race war. So we got, look at what we got. We got the political war going on with the Democrats, Republicans, right? This is all Daniel chapter 2. So now let's go ahead and share this. Fair use again.
Man with a long rap sheet was hit today with a federal terror charge in the stabbing death of a Ukrainian refugee on a Charlotte, North Carolina commuter train. That charge carries the death penalty.
The horrifying video of the attack is all over social media. Justice correspondent Scott McFarlane is following this case.
Irina Zarutska was 23 years old and fled from a bomb shelter during the war in Ukraine to find a new home and new job in North Carolina. Prosecutors say on August 22nd, on her way home from work, she was killed while in that seat on the light rail system in Charlotte. The FBI says the man who stabbed and murdered Zarutska is DeCarlos Brown Jr., who they say was later seen walking off the train with a bloody knife.
This is obviously a horrible, horrible situation. But this is why federal statutes exist.
It's funny that whenever one of ours is killed, they don't cry and do all of this, but you know, it is what it is. This is prophecy. This has to happen, right? This is Daniel chapter 2.
They exist to take care of situations like this.
Brown already faces local charges, but U.S. Attorney Russ Ferguson of North Carolina today announced a federal charge is being added, citing the scene of the crime, a mass transit system, raising the possibility of the death penalty.
It's a terroristic act to make people afraid to go about their daily lives. That's what terrorism is.
Court records show Brown has been arrested 14 times, including a 2015 conviction for robbery with a dangerous weapon. President Trump and his allies have highlighted the incident as proof that his attention to crime is justified.
We have to respond with force and strength.
The president leaned into the case today, posting on social media that a repeat offender allegedly killing a young refugee warrants stronger federal intervention and deployments in Democratic-led cities. Brown has not yet entered a plea in his federal criminal.
See, this all goes back to political war now, right? So obviously they're going to blame Democrats. Oh, it was a Democrat city, so it's always a blame on the Democrats. Then the Republicans the Democrats gonna respond back, right, and say, oh, the guy that got killed, Kirk, Charlie Kirk, oh, that's because the Republicans want gun rights and so on and so forth. So y'all can see the play that all of this is stemming from anarchy. This is going to happen, and what are they going to do? They're going to target black people and make us we're already scary to them. We're already super scary and evil to them. So just imagine how much more bloodshed is going to happen on our end for this situation happening, right? That's why when you go back to Daniel chapter 2, verse 41, it says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with merry clay, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with merry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of man, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. See? So all of this is going to start this race war that has to happen, this Democrat Republican war that has to happen. It's going to happen. You're going to start seeing these things sped up. But just imagine how they're going to target us now, right? Black men in America, you better be careful. A white woman got killed. They about to raise an alarm for the whole world now. You better be careful, black brothers. My advice to all you black and Latino men out there, specifically black for this point, because it was a black man that did it, make sure you just comply, brothers. Don't fight. Don't do none of that. Your life is more important. They stop you, comply. I'm telling you, right? It's okay. Don't lose your life, brothers, because I'm guaranteed they about to amp the ante on us. They about to amp the ante on us. You think this over? You think they not going to get no bloodshed back? It's going to happen. All y'all got to do is go to YouTube. Go to Facebook, go to Twitter, and look at all the racist comments. It's going to happen. You don't think the Republican Party going to respond back to the assassination of Trump and the murder of this particular dude today? It's going to happen. These wars are going to happen. So, but this is all America. This is Babylon. All right. So it says this place is going to come and become a place of all hateful and evil, right? In Revelation chapter 18, verse 1 through 8, right? Let's go back there real quick to Revelation 18. And is there any smoke, man? Is there any smoke, man? Let me know. If there's any Christian smoke, let me know. I've been one of you Christians, man. So let me know. But look, this is Revelation chapter 18. And let's start real quick at verse 5. Watch what it says. For her sins have reached into heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. And you know what? Let me get a scripture to that. Let me hold that thought. This is for my brothers, man, and sisters. This is going to save your life. Matthew 5:25. This is going to save your life. Matthew 5:25. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Man, agree with your adversary quickly, man. It's not worth your life. Brothers, it ain't worth your life. I know they violating your rights, but we don't have no rights in this place. Don't let them kill you, man. As soon as I see, hey, look, word to the wise. When I see cops pull up, I don't fight. I used to, but not no more. I'm smarter now. I gotta live for my kids now. They pull me over. Sisters, y'all too, man. Sisters, y'all too. Man, they pull me over. I put my hands out the window. I roll the windows down. I put my hands out the window. I put my hands where they can see them, and I don't move until whatever. They be like, man, why you doing all that? Hey, look, man, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just being conscious, man. The Bible say agree with thy adversary quickly. I don't know, bro. You can put your hands down. I don't even put my hands down until they tell me to. I'll be having my hands up just like this. They be like, you can put your hands down. I'd be like, you sure? All right, I'm gonna put my hands down. Because I had an experience like that where I was coming home from work. This is when I was a security guard. I was coming home from work, and cop pulled me over, and the white dude, blue eyes, right, pulled me over, and he walked up, had his hand on his gun, and he asked me for my license, and I was like, my license is in my backpack, right? My license is because my wife had a Honda Fit, 2010 Honda Fit, so it had a hatchback. So my backpack was in the trunk, had little hatchback. Y'all know about them too, the Honda Fits. So I was like, my wallet is in because I just got off work, and I had my security outfit and all that. So it's not like I had a fitted cap or whatever, because if you're from LA, you know, if you wear the fitted caps or whatever, they're gonna pull you over. That's why we don't wear our hats when we drive, because, you know, if you're from LA, you know, if you're wearing a fitted hat, they're gonna pull you over for sure. So, but I had a whole uniform on. So came up, whatever, and had his hand on his gun. I told him, I said, look, wallet's in my backpack. I just got off work. I'm just trying to make it home. It was like 6 a.m. And he looked back, looked at me. He looked back again. He looked back at me. And I'm like, look, brother, dude, it's in there. You can go get it. I'll open the trunk for you. He was like, all right, open the trunk. I opened it. He walked to the back, had his hand, got the bag, opened it. He said, where's the wallet? I said, it's in the little part. He opened the little part, got it, right? And gave me, but the point that I'm making to y'all is, ever since that, I ain't playing with them no more. Any type of resistance or any type of attitude or me backing, like, I ain't do it. Who knows, man? I wouldn't have been here for my children. So it's not, bro, it's not worth your life. You know, them cops come, the scripture says, agree with thy adversary quickly, man. Do what they say. They tell you get out the car, get out, man. If you know you ain't doing nothing, you know you ain't doing that. I know I ain't breaking no laws. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, there are some situations where they take brothers in. I don't know if y'all remember that dude that died in New York. He got wrongly not convicted, but they wrongly picked him up and had him in jail for years. I forgot his name. It was like in Rikers Island or something. It was in New York. It was a prison in New York when he died. He actually killed himself, I think, when he got out. But he was in prison, or he was locked up for like 3 years or something like that, and he didn't do anything. You know, those situations is, you know, unfortunate. But to keep yourself alive, you know, agree with thy adversary quickly, man. And sisters, y'all too. You know, y'all too, man. Don't be trying to. Cause a sister right here said, I was about to say, then rough us up like men too. Yeah, they do. They be roughing our sisters up too. So y'all just make sure, man. Smith said, he's right. Keep your life, brothers, and live for God and his son, because their kingdom is for the Israelites. Keep the commandments and live. Keep the commandments and live, man. So don't. Right now, I'm telling you, especially, I think that happened in New York where the brother killed the white woman. Y'all, man, y'all be safe, because I guarantee you they about to put the smack down on Israel, right, for that. So let's go back to Revelation 18. Let's finish this up real quick. Let's read verse 5. It says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled to her double, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her. So all of y'all that's about to be talking about some pray for America. Oh my gosh, America's in such a critical state. We got to pray for peace. God ain't praying for peace. God said he going to reward her with death. God ain't praying for peace. God said he going to reward her with death. Right? And the true prophets, we're going to go out there and we're going to talk about it. Right? We're going to go out there and talk about the destruction of America that must come to save the people of Israel. All right? With that being said, all praises and glory to the Most High. I'll be back on here next time. If there's any Christian smoke, let me know. Do we have any questions, comments, and concerns? If not, I'm gonna start doing these live streams. Try to do them on Wednesdays. So y'all bear with me. I'm getting this Rata page going up and going. Y'all enjoy the content that I'm putting up. A lot of that is old content. All right, a lot of that is old content, but we're about to get this page popping again. We're about to get some questions and answers popping. So if you're looking forward to that, let me know. This is Rata Speaks channel. I'm gonna be coming a little bit more live and direct and raw with it. I want all smoke with Christians. I want all smoke with Muslims. I want all smoke. So if there's ever any smoke, let me know. I'll get you on here. But if there are any questions and comments and concerns, feel free to ask your questions and comments. My goal is to edify and wake up the nation of Israel. But I've been on here for an hour. So I love y'all, family. Until next time, y'all stay tuned. Y'all be blessed. Y'all stay up, stay woke. Watch the signs of the times, right? Don't get caught with your pants down. Make sure you stand alert. Make sure you're watching. You're being vigilant. Make sure you're not asleep. This is a precious, trying time. And I guarantee you, the birth pains going to come shortly. Strong. And they're going to hit faster. They're going to start short and sweet. And then they're going to start hitting faster and faster and faster. And we're going to see this war and this anarchy. All right. All right. Shalom, family online. I love y'all. And until next time, we'll be back with another one. Shalom, family.